Chazak Baruch, Boker Tov everyone, Shavua Tov, Chazak Baruch for making the minyan. So we're on Siman Reish Samech Gimel in Seif Yud Gimel. So we mentioned last time that if you, let's say you go on a vacation and there's only one minyan in that city, in that village, so you have to follow that minyan. If that minyan prays early Shabbat, you have to pray early Shabbat with them. If they pray late Shabbat, you can't take your early Shabbat, you got to pray with them the late Shabbat. So here's an interesting thing. Adam Shabbat Le'ir Be'erev Shabbat. Let's say you come to a little city on Erev Shabbat, and that's either the whole city, even if there's 10 shuls there, but everyone was Mekabel Shabbat, let's say early. Ukvar Kiblu Anshe Ha'ir Alehem Shabbat. Afa Pisha Adayin Hayom Gadol. Even though it's still daytime, everybody accepted early Shabbat, let's say. Imayu Alav Ma'ot or Shum Chefetz. If let's say you had money on you or anything, Mani Choli Pol, put it down on the floor. You have to accept Shabbat with the city that's there. Unbelievable. So the Mishnah Berurah does say that because technically it's not Shabbat yet, you don't have to mamash drop it on the floor, but go home right away and put it down and then accept Shabbat. So you don't have to drop it on the floor, but you can go home right away. This again shows you that a person is nigrar, he gets like a magnet to whatever the city accepted Shabbat, that's it. Now you have a city, like a big city, Toronto, some accept Shabbat early, some late, okay, that's it. You're fine. But if you're in a small place, just one minyan, then or a place with everybody is at one side, you have to accept Shabbat with them. Seif Yudalid says, an interesting case, probably not so common now because we have watches, but the case is, let's say it's very cloudy outside. Everyone says, oh, Shabbat is coming. So everybody lights candles, and they come to shul, and they start praying Arvit. They pray Arvit, and then the sun, the clouds go away, and the sun comes out. And now it's like, what? It's not Shabbat. What's going on over here? So, what's going on? If this happened before Plaga Mincha, so early, before Plaga Mincha, it's too early. It's before Plaga Mincha. It's according to zero opinions, can you accept Shabbat at that time? So everything's betaut, it was accidental. But now, after Plaga Mincha, at some point, you're going to have to now redo everything. Candles, and we're not talking about Kiddushin, you eat, but candles and praying. But if it happened after Plaga Mincha, now this is talking about a tzibur, not a yachid. Yachid we'll talk about tomorrow. But if it's a tzibur, if it happens after Plaga Mincha, we don't make the tzibur do arvit again. So Shabbat, it doesn't mean actually. It's an interesting thing is that you don't have to pray arvit again, but because you accepted Shabbat betaut, accidentally you accepted Shabbat, you actually don't have to start keeping Shabbat yet. So let's say it's right after Plaga. Now the sun comes out. I still have half an hour till, let's say, Shabbat actually starts. I already prayed Arvit in the group, in the minyan. I don't have to pray Arvit again, but actually I don't have to accept Shabbat yet either until the proper time. So it's an interesting quasi-situation. If you want to accept Shabbat, you could, but you don't have to until the proper time comes. A Yachid is a little bit different, a little bit more strict, but that's what's going on. With even asiyat melacha, even if you need to do work afterwards, because it was betaut, then it's accidental. But to make a tzibur do arvit again, we don't have to. A yachid, we make him do it again if he made the accent alone. But at tzibur, we don't make him do it again. So again, an interesting case. Now, usually with watches, we know what time things are. But again, you go to a place and maybe Iran. I don't know. I pray for the Jews in Iran now. There's no internet, and maybe they don't know what time, what day it is, what this it is. So maybe these cases could happen. Hashem Yishmor. Okay, that's that for today. Mincha tonight at 4:55, and again tonight is also Rosh Chodesh B'Ezrat Hashem. Tonight and tomorrow. Yeah.
If it was before Plague, whatever it was Bracha V'Tala.
Yeah, accidental. Bracha V'Tala. Yeah, it's Bracha V'Tala, but it's an accident. You didn't think you thought it was Shabbat already. But if it's before Plaga Mincha, now you have to repeat everything because it's not Shabbat, nothing. Okay. Have a good day, everyone.